Everybody's here.
Yeah.
All good. How everybody feeling? Working with these energies, that's all we've been doing. And notice that we didn't even put stress on not eating or eating, did we?
No.
But you feel totally different just working with the energies through meditative practice. This is the power of meditative practice. And if you continue to keep working on it, of course you're going to see improvements as you keep growing, and your health will improve, your sleep will decrease, you will feel to have more energy, and this eternal energy, the more it becomes harmonized, it will start rotating in other parts of your life. Now there's a lot of ancient cultures. When you look at today's three major religions, they have a thing called monotheism, the one God concept. But that concept wasn't in the beginning, because there's cultures that's more ancient than that, but it seemed that they had multiple gods. Here in India, you see all of these different gods. Also ancient Egypt. However, what were they trying to convey? As you work in this duality, as we're working with these different forces, we got the forces of the sun. We got the different energies of nature. The river energy. The energy coming from the earth. The energy coming from the trees. Now we know that all of these energies come from the same source. We know that. However, when they manifest, they give off a different frequency. So both the ancient culture and the monotheism is both talking the same thing. You just got to put it together. The oneness is there, but also the way it vibrates differently also exists. Sort of like the energy of the liver is different than the energy of the heart. There's a machine on how they measure the organs, and they use a thing called augmented units. For instance, to give you an example, a healthy liver will give off something like 500 augmented units. Hey, healthy kidneys will give off something like 200 augmented units. And you get my example. Each organ gives off a certain amount of augmented units that shows that it's healthy. If it goes under that, that shows it start getting weaker and bad, and it affects the whole organism. However, going back to that, when you add all of them together, like the liver's 500, the kidneys 200, the heart's 300, there's a total number of a healthy human being. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Yeah. A total number. So therefore, when you're in the frequency of that number, that shows that you're healthy when you're playing a numbers game. That's why in the hospital, when you do a checkup, all they come back do is give you a list of numbers. What is your blood sugar? What is the blood pressure? Oh, I can move this for you. There you go. Got it. So it's a numbers game that they're playing. And our job is, if the number game, if we're losing in an area, is to go correct it. So next time when you do your checkup, we'll check the numbers again. And if your numbers are corrected, you're off the medication. Uh-oh, did that make sense? If they don't change, you're going to continue to be on the medication. And there's many people finding out that they can make that change. The old idea, a person will get treated for the rest of their life with blood pressure, diabetes. But every once in a while you see a person come and beat it because they change their lifestyle, and that will automatically change the numbers. Now, boy, two thoughts hit me at the same time. So going back when I was talking about living on Prana, it's the same thing. It's a numbers game. When I was telling y'all last night, the body, all it needs to get to a level of getting about 33% of an energy light quotient. That's what we call it. Once it get up to hold about 33, now listen at that word. Now this comes from the esoteric circles. One book that's famous is from Leonard Orr called the Ascension Manual. Any of y'all ever read that?
Which one? Sorry.
The Ascension Manual from Leonard Orr.
I've heard of Leonard Orr. He does. He's famous for breath work.
Right, rebirthing, and he also talks immortality.
Yes.
But in that book, the Ascension Manual, within the work, he put together a lot of different ideas for the esoteric circles, because that's the other thing to be coming out. Not only we talking longevity, we can handle that, but to hear that immortality piece, of course, that's a whole nother ball game. But they saying that it exists. Now, of course,
like intermittent fasting versus like breatharianism.
That was his breatharianism, right? Intermittent fasting.
That's kind of like longevity, and breatharianism is almost like immortality. You know?
Right.
It's like the next level of it.
The next level. Yeah. Look how he's saying that. Levels and degrees. That's all we're dealing with. So that's why when we say diet and exercise is the first levels of spirituality, that's where it's at. Those are the first levels. Because why accumulate all this knowledge and you're going to lose it anyway just from the neglect of the physical body? That don't make sense. And then it's hard for you to study or concentrate or learn more if the physical body is paining due to neglect. So that's still defeating the purpose. So we got to go back to the first initiations of diet and exercise so we can study more, we can learn more, and we can keep growing. So going back to these many different gods, what they're talking about is the many different forces and how you use these forces to bring on a wholeness. So it wasn't so much of different gods. Let's go back and see what this means now. Now the word God, G-O-D, in the English language is actually new. It comes from other words. One of them is a dramatic word, which is plural. It's going back again. And it's talking about a flock of, or a group of. Same with the word El that they use in ancient times. Now, everybody running around saying Elohim, but when you learn Hebrew, when you put im on the end of a word, it makes it plural. So that's why in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. It uses the word Elohim. They're talking about as things are coming into duality, when these forces come together, that's when it's manifesting the wholeness. If it's just making sense now. But we're going to tap deeper. We got to. So it's about harmonizing the energies within you for spiritual growth. The energies is there, but if they're trying to go separately, they're not working with the whole. And even in Chinese medicine, it's talking about a waxing and waning of energy that's passing through the body. As the sun rises, it's going across the sky. Now in ancient Egypt, they used the word Horus. Anybody y'all heard that? Isis and Osiris had Horus. Now Horus is where they get the word hours from, hours in a day. And even your Muslims, they're dictating their prayers from sunrise to 5 different prayers throughout the day on the times of the sun as it goes across the sky. So everybody got the information, they just don't know what they're doing. They're just going through the motions. You're on a timing of the sun. And you're also with the lunar energies. And really it isn't no separation. When you see the moon phases, it is just telling you where the sun is located. So you're still within the solar energies. When we did our meditation last night, the energies were still high, just like in the daytime. It didn't stop. Both day and night, this cosmic energy is coming upon us in set times in cycles. So now let's take it further. That word G-O-D in esoteric circles, they say when you take it backwards, it's dog. Then they go to the dog star, Sirius, the Sirius constellation. Now she asked a question yesterday about astrology. Now look at the word, astro, cosmos, all the energies, the frequencies that's coming from off the earth. Those are alien energies. That's alien technology. We wasn't looking at it like that. The sun is an alien technology. an alien energy. It's not originating from the earth. It's coming from off the earth, affecting the earth. So the stars and stuff, the cosmos, the constellations, they're bringing forces to the earth, affecting life on earth. Those are alien energies. So therefore, when the ancients use the word a God force, they're basically saying, when you are connecting with this force, how to evoke it. Is this making sense? God is just how to evoke the force. Nobody's denying that the forces is there. Everybody just get caught up calling it different names. All right, that's child's play. Right, can't prove it. Nobody ever talked to them. All right, but anyway, it's how you evoke these forces. Because even when you look at modern science, they got a thing called physics. Physics is just dealing with the forces that they already existed, and we just learned how to use them. But they already exist. We didn't create them. So it's how you evoke these forces that's going to make the difference. So just like when you look at that word metaphysics, meta just means higher, the higher physical. So when we talk spirituality, we just talking metaphysics, the higher physical, the energy behind physical matter. It all goes together now. So when science say we discovered what the ancients been saying, okay, there's some truth to it. They ain't discovered it, it was already there. They were just talking on a metaphysical level. Now we are tapping in on how to evoke this God force for our favor, to have a blessing. That's what we call it. But you actually bless yourself on how you use these forces. This is getting good. So the more we learn about meditation being the foundation of prana, if you want to go into food freedom, it ain't got nothing to do with a belief system. It ain't got nothing to do with you being a good person just because you smile. You need some knowledge or some education on how to evoke the forces. Is this making sense? That's all it's dealing with. And when you get understanding on how to evoke them and use them, then it will work in your favor, it's guaranteed. Because we're connected with the forces. Like they used to say. When they tell you about a forest, this is what's happening in the forest. They didn't go to each and every bit of the forest to study the whole forest. All they needed to do was study a portion of the forest and then do a write-up and tell you about the whole forest. The same about the lake. They didn't get every droplet of water to tell you about the water of the lake. All you need to do is get a sample of the water and tell you about the whole lake. So if you want to find out about the universe, that's why the saying it says, man, know thyself, and you should know God. All you got to do is study yourself. It tells you about the cosmos. That's why we do that meditation called the microcosmic orbit. You're the microcosm of the bigger macrocosm. And when we was talking about the 3 ingredients of the universe, everywhere you go, there's physical matter, there's energy, and then there's space. But you got it within you. Physical matter, you're working with energy, and you got space all through you. Breathing it, going through you. Circulation. And when those spaces get blocked up, you feel it as sickness or disease. So you're blocking up the God force. You ain't evoking it right. But when you learn how to evoke it right, it automatically opens up the macrocosm. It automatically connects with the outer picture, the macrocosm. You're one with it. Uh-oh. You have power over these energies. But the average person, through ignorance, is just going with the flow, don't understand what's taking place, and they're living a life of, how should I say, stuck in physical matter. The illusion of physical matter. And when you think physical matter is real, you're living in a nightmare. You gotta be. So we want to learn how to evoke these gods again. to evoke the forces. That's all it
Can you
is.
talk a little bit more about the nightmare of living in?
Oh, living in a nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, of course you live
Doesn't
it.
matter and where we should, you know.
Why is it a night? Like,
Yeah.
but some people don't find it a nightmare.
Oh, yes, they do.
Nice.
Don't let it fool you.
If you tell some people that you know this is a nightmare, that then like you said, the wall will come out and they'll immediately their defense mechanism.
Oh, I
will-
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. When a person don't know something exists, so another road exists, that's understandable. But once they find out something else exists, then they got something to compare it with. That's why we got a thing called polarity. You wouldn't know if something was real hot if you didn't understand what cold was. Up and down. So we also live in the polarity of forces. I used to have some pet rats that it was unique on how they used to operate. Once I had them in one room, that was their world. But once they found out another room existed, you couldn't keep them from trying to go there. Their universe expanded. Now they know it exists. And no matter what I tried to do, they wanted to go into that other room all the time. Sneaking behind my back. I'm like, where you going? Right. And that's how we do. Once you know if something else exists, a better alternative, you will go seek it. But if you don't know the alternative exists, you don't know it's there. So therefore, this is what they say about the rulers of the world. They're ruling the world not that they have more power than nobody else. They rule the world because through education, they didn't tell you the possibilities that exist. So humanity is basically taking their own power from themselves. You just don't know the other possibilities exist. But you got access to it. That's the game. But you got access to it just like everybody else. So only a small portion have access to these so-called abilities. Now you're opening up to it. So even when we talk about food freedom, it always existed. When you start uncovering things, it start making sense. Boom, boom. This always existed. But why didn't the masses know? You're connected to the forces you should have. It's actually your fault. Nobody ain't had to tell you. Uh-oh. Did I say that?
Yeah.
That's why the rulers of the world feel like they ain't doing no harm. That's your fault. Your ancestors walked away from the forces. And the generations came after that, they teeth are eating sour grapes. Nobody passed on the memo. We just waking up to open up the memo again. Oh, that's what's happening. Full circle.
So is it like really very ancient, this entire knowledge? I mean, like you're saying, it's then the scriptures. Is it rediscovered or has been passed down? What is
Some things have to be passed down. We're picking it up. And some things do have to be rediscovered because they got lost. There was, due to crusades, whole libraries burned. Knowledge tore up. Knowledge destroyed. That's why it was better to write it in symbolism to maintain it. That's why we're picking it up now. See, something just simple as a pole with a serpent going up it, that can mean a million things. But now where we at in this age, it's making sense. Oh, the energy flow is here.
Right.
I'm glad they left it like that for us to pick it up. If they would have wrote it down, it would have been easy for somebody to throw it off. That's the game. When you play with sentences now, you know if you change one word, it'll make that sentence have a whole nother meaning. That's why text messages is hard. Sometimes somebody will text something, they mean something totally different on how you're reading it. And a whole fight could break out on social media. Right. It's the way you interpret it. So it's different when you're getting it from verbal. You know, from a code. That's all written language is a code. But it's also a language, a coded language. So when you start finding that and uncovering it, it's just like even in science. When you go to electronics, they're not just talking the whole electronics. They break it down into schematics, symbolism. Well, you got the plus sign. The reason why somebody made the plus sign, so they won't have to keep repeating themselves. Then you get another apple. Then go get one more apple. Then go get another apple. Instead of just saying plus 5 apples.
Right.
That's what it's for. It's a shortened up way of communication. That's what it is. So when we deal with the pranic journey, we are uncovering these gods with an S, evoking these forces so they can work in our favor. That's why you got a thing called pranayama, breath exercises. You're already breathing, so you would figure if you're already breathing, why can't you just be sustained off the breath? Why is people starving to death on the planet? Because they don't have a full package. It takes more than just the breath. Yeah, you're breathing. But there's other things you must learn. The thought process go along with it. That means a lot. It programmed the body. Relaxation, other forms of stress, what you're eating, the way you're treating other life forms, that can nourish you or shut you off. It all goes with the package. Because we're one with everything. It's sort of like that guitar I was trying to play last night. I'm glad y'all took that away from me. I would have made all y'all leave the retreat. And it got the 6 strings. All of us got those 6 strings. You got access to them. But to create your life, it has to make a certain vibration. So to make it make music, you only do certain strings at a certain time. Everybody's life is like that. To make that music. If you played all the strings, it wouldn't sound good. That's what I was doing last night.
What a comparison.
You need somebody who had the knowledge to say, now they're in keys. Now it's making a tune. So everybody's life is like that. And if you want to change your life, you look at the strings and you start playing another song. First you have to learn it. It gets better. Then it becomes second nature. And that's how you start creating your new life. And that's what we're talking about. That's why I keep saying, when you come into the Breatharian knowledge, you need some form of consistency. So just like playing the guitar, you did good last night. We might as well give him a round of applause.
His name again?
Dharanjan.
Yay! Got it.
Practice makes perfect. But that didn't come out of you just overnight. You had to learn the basics once upon a time. Am I right?
Right.
Vishinantam. Over and over again. To where he made it look easy last night. When he took it from me, I was thinking in my head, he making my guitar sound like that. How did he do that? Well, he practiced with it.
True.
And it ain't matter what guitar he picks up. He can make that same song come out. Now, of course, my guitar was low quality. He let me know that. I got the memo, okay. I bought it because I knew it was cheap. But that's what we're talking about. But that even make a lot of sense what he said about the quality of the instrument changes the music. So that's what we're doing with our bodies. The reason why you must go on a process to change the instrument so it can have higher quality to play better music.
Absolutely.
That's why meditation is the foundation again. To get everything flowing so it can make a better quality of sound so you can blend in with the orchestra of the universe so it can feed you.
Wow.
You come in one with it. Other than that, you playing the sound that the universe is saying, you go sit over there, you messing up the beat of everything else. You go practice a little bit. That's what it's saying. Right.
Right.
High blood pressure ain't supposed to happen. That's unnatural. We might as well go ahead and say it. The river is flowing. The blood is flowing. Why should it shut itself off? That don't even make sense. Somebody shut it off. They start playing a different song. And the universe said, we ain't playing that song. So it ain't supporting you. It can't.
True.
It's real. So that's why we're going to go over the 5 pillars right now. Well, we did the 5 pillars of life experiences, but then there's the 5 pillars of the journey. And this is how it usually works. When a practitioner finds out, first of all, living on prana. or I could better my life. I could better my health. So they come into it. Come as you are. So the first pillar they usually say is called the concealment. Concealment is something that is hidden.
How do you spell that?
Concealment.
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 Something that is hidden. See, we don't realize it. All of humanity, even though you're one with nature, we got that. But you're not being sustained by it. That's a fact. People are starving to death. You will starve if you left food alone right now. Because you're separated. The forces is hidden from you. It's concealed. You don't see it. You still try to figure out how you're going to get your minerals, your vitamins. Where do I get my protein from? You're going off the last program. You're scared. All of this taking place. You're looking at everybody before you, what happened? That's where you at. So you're concealed from the higher forces. You're living in it, but y'all don't have a relationship. You're playing one song, and nature's playing another. You're speaking one language, and nature is speaking something else. Uh-oh. So when you come into the journey, and everything's concealed from you, you kind of do run into a healing crisis. You're still wondering why it ain't supporting you. You've been listening to the teachings, but why do it seem like I'm going the opposite direction? Because it's still concealed. So most people, what do? They usually abandon ship. They go back to their old lifestyle. This is what works for me. So they blame the teacher. They blame the knowledge. They blame themselves. I guess they got an extra heart or an extra lung or something like that. But you went through the concealment, the first concealment. That's why I keep saying, stay consistent. Just on this first day, second day, we've been working with these forces. But still, you ain't all the way there yet. You got to stay consistent for it to grow in you till you feel it all over your body. You should feel yourself breathing through your feet. Right now, you just feel yourself breathing through the nose. You should feel your voice going through all the way to the feet. But right now, you just feel it right here in your vocal cord. Because that's what chanting's all about. You should feel it. Break up all blockages. So that's the first concealment. So if a person stay consistent, that's expected for you to go through that first concealment. Then you go through the second concealment. The second concealment, you can feel a lot more energy flow. You got a lot more knowledge about what's happening, but you're still not being sustained. You don't know when to let go. You still got confusion. I get people calling me all the time. Every time I've been following this, I see the improvements, but when do I let go? It ain't sustaining you yet. So you're jumping in and out. And that doubt is still there. It's a lot more congested, but you also at a point where you know you can't turn back. You don't want to turn all the way back. But you're still going through the second concealment where the forces are still hidden from you. But if you stay consistent, then there comes the third pillar. Now notice it was the first concealment, second concealment, and now we hit the third pillar. And the third pillar is called the great, how should we say this? Correction. The great correction. That's when the person, the individual, realize without a shadow of a doubt that you have to make corrections to come in tune with the higher forces. The higher forces ain't going to change for the organism. It ain't changing for the creature. It didn't change for our ancestors, and it ain't changing for us right now. That's why when they wrote the hieroglyphics, they are clear that this is what must take place. The serpent energy that's coming from the first chakra must come up the spine, up to the top. That's how it must go. But we want to try to make our lifestyles fit where the serpent don't matter. I can keep on using the energy any way I want and demanding for the higher energies to support us and sustain us. But it ain't going to work like that. So there's a realization that comes to the creature saying, I got to tweak and make some more changes. To build this relationship. Because the relationship has been one way. Nature been sustaining everybody. But the creature ain't been realizing this. So the creature finally has to admit it has to make some serious holistic changes to get more of this relationship built. You got to learn the language of nature. There is no other way. You got to play the song of nature. You got to bring on a new tune within your instrument so you can get into the big choir. You can get nominated. This is what's happening. That's the third pillar. More energy start coming to you. Then when the more energy start coming to you, through your changes, that's when the practice is no longer a practice. It becomes your lifestyle. That's why people ask me, so when times do you meditate? There is no time. That's just part of the lifestyle. I'm always relaxed. I practice with weight right now. The art of doing nothing. That's part of the curriculum. So it becomes just like pranayama. You don't have to keep doing breath work. The pranayama breath work was to teach you how to breathe. And once you learn how to breathe, you don't need to practice it no more. The breath should automatically go to the abdomen. Things should not be blocking it. So now when you make those corrections, nobody has to tell you to leave heavy foods alone. That brought forth the separation in the first place. High blood pressure. It don't supposed to exist. That is not in the constitution of the human being. That came about due to a lifestyle. So when you look at a first world country, a superpower, it's a superpower of first world country because it said it was. In nature's eyes, no, it's not. It ain't sustaining the people there. You just keep letting your money you created sustain you. Nature don't care nothing about money. It's currency. Listen at that word currency. It's your blood flow. If your blood flowing properly, that's why you don't have high blood pressure. Nature backed you up. That was the currency it was looking for. So you can sit there until you blue in the face. Here's $1,000, nature. Take this high blood pressure from me. It don't care. What is that? Money makes the world go around. That's what the superpower said. But they spending all their money now on medication.
Yes.
Right. And I met really rich people. One rich man, he was so sick, and he was young, 260. He couldn't even enjoy his toys. I was enjoying it for him. Can I use your boat today? Yeah, go ahead. The keys is over there. Might as well. Man, this is heavy, ain't it? But that's where we at. So that's the number one currency. And that's the correction, the third pillar, where that has value over everything else. Then you go into the fourth pillar, which is the revelation. That's when the higher forces is revealed to you. When you will have this feeling state, just like you're experiencing now in meditation, dealing with the Qigongs, the Tai Chi, the breath work, you feel it all the time. It don't matter where you at. You could be on a bus, be on a train. You will feel this connection because now the forces isn't hidden from you. They are revealed. You can walk in a room and people will feel you coming. We were just talking about that. Who was I talking about that with? Somebody. Right. And that's why I tell you in ancient times, when two Kung Fu masters come to each other, first they fill out each other's energy. And if somebody's energy is ringing off of them, the fight ain't even going to take place. You already won. They did some work for it to get like that. They in tune and harmony with the forces. How you going to beat something like that? That's why when you're in tune with the forces, you're living a life where it's not a nightmare.
Right.
That's what we were saying. You just asked me the question, well, how is it a nightmare if somebody is stuck in physical matter into the illusion?
How do you communicate with them about if they haven't seen this other thing? How do they know that they're in the nightmare?
Because the truth is already in everybody. When you speak the truth, they can hear you talking. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. There's times I go to places, they don't even know I live on Prana. I was in Morocco, for instance. I was with a group of nice people. We was up with the Berbers. You know, they offered me food. No, that's all right. I'm on a special diet. I'm meditating. They respected it. You want some hash? No, I don't do that. You want a cigarette? No, I don't do that. Now, I ain't even had to say nothing. Pretty soon, the one man was looking at me, rubbing his stomach. I do need to get rid of this. Looking at another one looking at a cigarette. That's good you don't smoke. I didn't have to say nothing. The energy's ringing. What do you need to communicate? You don't need to do nothing but live it. Actions speak louder than words.
Right. Actions speak louder
Right.
than words.
Living on Prana, I'm just doing this for some activity. I ain't got to teach nobody nothing. I don't. All I got to do is live it.
Absolutely.
That's all you got to do. This ain't required. Right. I'm just sharing. It don't matter if you believe it or not. It's there. And everybody I leave, I know it affected them. They sent back probably just ate a hamburger saying, but he was kind of right, though. Right. That's what happened. You ain't got to say nothing. Just live it. So then you go into the second revelation. See, the first revelation is what is revealed to you. But when you stay into it, because keep in mind, I said living on Prana is a minor city power. It's minor. That's the gateway to bigger things. When all of that little stuff is out the way, when you don't need to worry about that denseness of physical matter, you can start having a better exploration of consciousness, working with the more subtle energies. And a whole nother world opens up. And that's where you will find your life purpose, your life destiny. You're just not here running around and everything made a mistake. That's heavy, ain't it?
Yeah.
You find out what you're good at. Everybody good at something. And it's so deep. They did a test one time where they took 100 people, 100 young men, all at the age of 25. And they asked them what they want to be. And of course, at the age of 25, you got this big life ahead of you. All of them got these goals, these dreams. And they tracked them for like 40 years. Now, about 3 of them out of the 100 actually had a life where you could say it was successful. No matter how you do that measurement of success. Everybody else, they either died off before then, or they had great bitterness on things that they never really could live to bring out of their life. Now, why is that? The main thing that caused them from doing that was negativity. The negativity from the social system, you cannot do that. But the main negativity was within them. That they was putting themselves down. The self-sabotage frequency. And I see people all the time, I see what they're good at, their talent. All the time. As soon as I bring it up, they shut themselves down. And they put themselves back to sleep. Because somebody told them, or they're telling themselves, I know I'm good at that, but I can't do that. And they put themselves back to sleep. All the time that happens. That's why when I'm working with people and I see their talent, all I do is direct them to their talent so we could do a good work. I was at the Canary Islands, there was this man, we was building our retreat. He was good at working with the earth. Good at working with his hands. That's what he did. I don't know how. That was spiritual. He was building things that was amazing for people that where we can meditate at. He built the bathroom, the banyo, where people could use the bathroom at. Another man who was doing yoga, who was doing all this stretching, he needed to join the meeting to meditate with us because this is spiritual. I say he don't want to join the meeting. He don't feel meditation like that. His meditation was in the work he was doing. And I said, we got the stuff now. If I had to depend on you bending up like a pretzel, we wouldn't have this stuff. And you enjoying it, right? Yeah. He did his portion. to the whole. But he's ready to shut them down, put them in a talent that he's not good at. He ain't good at bending up like a pretzel. He don't care. His enjoyment was working with the earth.
Right.
So sometimes we kill people too, thinking what we think they should do, and that's not what they're good at. Just be what you're good at. Is that making sense?
Yes.
And then that's what it will flourish, especially when you're working on this pranic trail. It will become crystal clear when you open up these energies. So when you go through these pillars, the correction stage, the third pillar, then you go to the fourth pillar, the first revelation, where the energy gets good. And you know it gets good because what did I say? The indication when you are living on prana. You'll have more energy, your sleep will decrease, your health will improve, you'll be happier, healthier, you'll have better life communications with people and things. That's how you know. And then when you come into the fifth revelation, you are basically one with the Creator. We might as well go say it. Ain't no more good or bad. Every situation you're in, and then you can start really seeing everybody that's from you, you're one. You see it now. This is heavy, ain't it? It ain't no more myth or no good philosophy. The philosophy went from myth to reality. But it comes through the energetic practices. That's what opens up the consciousness. Is this making sense again?
Yes. My God.
Oh, man. This is good just to think about it. This is why we're in the golden age. You got access to it. We got the tools now. So it's nobody's fault again. It's not even your own fault. It's all about what you experience. We must get rid of that. Whose fault is it? It ain't nobody's fault. You experiencing what you want to experience. Now, there's a joke that one time you said another good one about somebody living for physical matter, but they might like it, in other words. Now, listen at this. Let me make sure my battery pack's plugged up. Now, I hope I don't.
Good one there, huh?
Yeah, I hope I don't hit the wrong button.
You're making sure it's all there.
Yeah. I hit the wrong button again that they were. You ever see that application where it put the faces on you?
No, show it to us.
Oh, man.
Oh, you laugh and laugh and laugh.
Oh, man. I did it this morning when we was doing the Qigong. But instead of stopping it, we kept it going, and it kept putting those faces, so we said, let it go. All right. Now, there's a joke that they say. They got a thing in America when your health get bad, whether it's mental health or physical health, where you get a check from the government called SSI. That's what they call it, Social Security. In the other countries, they probably call it something else, where you start getting a check from the government if your health get too bad to work. So one day this man was he was real sick. He was on SSI. Went to the beach thinking about, man, my life is over with, I'm so sick. So he met this man that was glowing on the beach. Wow. So the man walks up to him and touches him. And he gets healed. Man, I feel great. Thank you for healing me. Now I can start off and have a whole new good life. But let me tell my two good friends about this. So he had two friends that were sick. He told them about the man, how he got healed, and he brought him to the beach. So he said, dearie, go right there. The man was glowing. So the one friend walked up to him, and the man came with his hand, and he touched him, and he got healed. Oh, man, this is great. Thank you for healing me. Oh, man. So now it was the third man, his chance. So he walks up to him, the man that was glowing. He takes out his hand to touch him, but the man moved back. So he kind of moved to him again to touch him, to heal him. He moved back again. And then the man that was glowing said, why won't you let me heal you? And the man replied and said, I ain't gonna let you stop my SSI check from coming to the house. So in other words,
Oh.
the government is actually giving people a benefit to stay sick. Some people don't want to be healed, don't want to be healthy, because now they ain't got to go to work now. They got a free check coming in the mail, so you will run into people that will say, no, I don't want to change my diet. I got to go see the doctor, and I must keep these numbers the same. It's real.
Yeah.
I ran into it all the time. There was one woman stopped coming to the class because of that. I seen her approving, but she went to the doctor said, we got to talk about your prescription, to lighten up on it. Once she saw that, she stopped coming to class. She put 2 plus 2 together.
That's a good one.
Right, and this is the truth.
This is a good one.
So don't worry about people who don't want the message. They're having a life experience where sometimes people would get a lot more attention when they're sick.
Yeah. Some people
That's
like
the truth.
That. Yeah.
I knew some man now, he's like a rock star. He's part of this group and he's sick. Now he's asking for people to pray for him, but he got a voice bigger than ever now. He's sitting up with the guru. Let me talk, guru. All right, y'all. I'm working on my sickness and I'm declaring it. Keep praying for me. Before, when he was a nobody, he wasn't able to talk. Right. He ain't going to get healed. He's loving it too. Getting his meals brought to him. Before, they didn't care about him. But that's what's happening. So people are looking for the incentive also of the lower vibration. So that's why you ain't got to force this message on nobody. A person once had to educate me. I thought I was going to force it on everybody, and all I did was met barriers, walls. And I was like in my mind, what's going on? Until some woman said, only go to people who call you because they're acceptable to the energy. They're ready for you. Somebody who's not, they're not ready for you. That's their life experience. So even when I had my community center one time, it went to a certain level of growth. It could not go beyond that because the people were not ready to go further. They weren't. So, and that was stagnating my growth. So why should I stay there? So I had to pack up to go finish my evolution and allow them to have their life experience. Did this make sense?
Yes.
Oh, my battery pack isn't working.
You want this phone? Or you want?
Nah, that's all right. It was meant to happen. So, now let me see here. Where are we going to take this? All right, let's explain these images. Oh, do I got the chalk? Oh, here it is. Now these forces, oh, excellent. Where there's a will, there's a way. All right, you got that for me.
Yes, always. There's a will, there's a way. Is it on? Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
If not, we'll just run until it come off, All right, we got that. Let me make our... I should get that little girl to do that picture for me. That was the artist last night. Then we got the person right here. And he smiles. All right. Now, there's some forces that we must bring together. They already exist, but it's our responsibility to get educated on how to be harmonized. So there's a thing called, first of all, you got the cosmic energies coming from the cosmos, those alien energies, coming from the sun, the stars at night. Now, notice I just said stars at night. They just ain't at night. We just see them at night.
Yes.
The stars is there right now.
Right.
And they're affecting the earth, bringing the energies to the earth. So these are our cosmic energies. And they're always raining on us both day and night, replenishing the earth energetically. It's affecting us. That's why we do practice photosynthesis. The plants practice photosynthesis. And I'm going to show you the difference on what we're going through. The animals is living off of the sun, breathing it, all this other stuff, and I go on and on. So that's the cosmic energies. Then we got a thing called the terrestrial energies, coming from the trees, coming from the flowers, coming from the rivers. And they even say that gives off a thing called negative ions. We call that being in nature. Those are the terrestrial energies. And when you go out into nature, you get to feel those negative ions. And I think we was talking about it yesterday where they actually created a machine to give off negative ions. And that's usually for people in the corporate world or wherever. who's busy to put it into the office to at least help them. And I think I told you a scientist said, this is a shame that you got to spend all the money for this machine, and actually it's free. All you got to do is go out into nature.
Right.
So it does make sense when you're barefooted, you're making this connection to the earth. You're getting all this terrestrial energy coming up. The nature of the energy from the rivers, the flowers. And like Hermit was just saying, this make a difference from when I was in the city of Mumbai.
Yeah.
Now, even though I was being sustained in Mumbai, I still feel the heaviness. Out here, I feel a lot lighter. So even though you can be sustained on prana anywhere you go, there are some environments that are more nutritious than others. So you should always seek an environment that's going to complement your new form. Less stress on the body. Is this making sense?
So now in corporate offices, they are trying to introduce a lot of greens and do that. We call it the biophilic environment because to have the negative ion.
Bringing it into the offices. Now look at that. Remember we said that this thing, all of humanity is catching it? Going green?
Yes.
Now she's saying right in the corporate offices, and even where I was at, in America, there was many offices going green. Everybody got the memo now. That's why there is no, this message is easy, actually easy to teach now. So we got the cosmic energy that's always raining on us both day and night. That's a given. And we find it out. That's why you want to meditate more and start loving it. You have access to that and nobody can take it from you. It don't cost no money. It's free. Then you got the energies of nature. You can start utilizing it now with this knowledge. So even if you live in a city, when I was living in the urban, I just went to the neighborhood park. You still can get that, that energy. Okay, the cars is going around, but there's still a benefit. You understand? So we won't use it as an excuse. When I was in Israel, we was in Jerusalem, and Jerusalem was a real busy part of the city. We found just this little patch where a tree was there. Rested up under the tree, laying down, and got energized in like 20 minutes time. Boom! Everything went into the earth. We got energized just from that little patch. See, don't look at you being separated from nature just because you're living in a city. You can't leave nature. That's still nature. It's just like an ant building his colony. Now, the ant, when he built this colony, the ant that's probably living there say, this is the city. But when we look at it, look at them, this ant colony here in nature. We know it's a nature because we're looking at it from another perception. So apparently there's probably not no ant in the ant colony saying, I need to leave the colony to go out into nature. He already in the nature. So that's why when I lived in the urban, don't let it be an excuse. That's what we do to ourselves sometimes.
What about the pollution in the air?
Your body knows how to get rid of it. It was getting rid of the food all this time, wasn't it? Don't worry about it. Like I told people when I first visited India, what about the food, the pollution? My body can get rid of some air quality a lot quicker than that sandwich you eat. I'll be all right. Don't worry about it. It's user-friendly.
Yeah.
It's the overtoxicity that we were talking about. That's the problem. But again, so we got the cosmic energy, the terrestrial energy, then we got the inner energy. There's energy that you were born with that's already in you. Let's get that Kundalini's energy going again. You were born with it. And what our job is to become harmonized with the energy from the earth, the terrestrial energies, and harmonize the cosmic energies coming down. Because our bodies is a good conductor of energy. We're carbon-based beings. Now listen to that word carbon. When you look on a periodic chart, it is the sixth element, carbon. And they call it carbon 12. So in the scriptures, they got a thing that the number of the beast is 666. That's the carbon. You're 666. You're the beast. That's why they call us the beast system. You ain't leave the animal kingdom. That's humans' problem. We think we left the animal kingdom. No, you didn't. all you're doing is going to make a transformation from an earth animal to an air animal.
I didn't understand this carbon-based thing.
All right, we're going into it. So carbon is a good conductor. Now, what else is carbon? Coal is carbon that we do barbecues with, make fires with. What that is trapped light. That's why it's good for fire. A diamond is carbon. You can put that in electronic equipment and make a good conductor. So our bodies, if it's on that same level, this is a good conductor of energy. This is trapped light. Does this make sense? You were designed to work with energy. That's all you do. That's why you eat in the first place. But we got trapped in physical matter again. We just kept going for the lower energy source, which is just fossil fuels. You're just getting educated now that since this is a good conductor of energy, this piece of equipment, this is carbon-based being, it is made to work with the energies that's coming from the cosmic forces and also the terrestrial forces. Now listen at that word terrestrial. Then there's a word called extraterrestrial. And every time we hear that, we think of little green men. And I got all my friends, I got friends who's talking about it, the little green men. And I'm like, well, show me a picture. I mean, we're in the age of cell phones now. Show me a picture. Now, I'm not trying to be a skeptic, but I'm just real. Because I like shooting straight from the hip. Because one time I was teaching a class, and I think I told y'all this, where a woman said, when they was going through the pranic process, some cosmic beings came to them, galactic beings, and showed them the process. That's how they got it. So people asked me, of course, when I was going through the process, did some galactic beings come to me? I got to tell the truth. No, there ain't no galactic beings come to me. If some galactic beings would have came to me, I would have had a lot of questions to ask them, and it would have had nothing to do with living on Prana. I'd have been asking them, could I ride their spaceship? Could I go back to their planet? Right. Give me something so I can show my friends so they won't call me a liar. An ashtray or something. It got to be different. That's where we at. So we don't need to play that game no more. No, that's not what happened. It's just as simple as this. These are the alien energies. And you are a terrestrial being because you were born from the earth. This is the terrestrial energies. But when you pick up these cosmic energies and start working with them, it opens up your extra senses. You are the extraterrestrial. Does this make a sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm an extraterrestrial because I'm being sustained by the forces. Uh-oh.
Oh, so I just need to take your photograph.
Right. So here go one of them right here. I'll be smiling. Right.
Could you green really quick?
That's it.
Yeah, that's because you got the chlorophyll for the
Right, this is chlorophyll. Doing it all. That's why they depicted Shiva and Shakti being green and all this other stuff. They understood this is the chlorophyll. We don't need to go to the green like the plants. That's the blood of plants. But your hemoglobin that's in your blood, it attracts light to it. That's a medical fact. That's why the life is in the blood. They told us in the scriptures. You get your blood with less toxicity, it's going to draw a higher concentration of light to the body automatically. It's automatically going to pick this up. It's going to funnel it right in. See, the average human being, all of us is getting it. But it's real low. I think they call that the silver cord and stuff like that in different esoteric circles. The more you meditate, you're just thickening up this cord where the body can hold more light. This is a piece of equipment. That's the great work. Then you can hold more light. Then you can be sustained more off of these forces, and you can leave these forces alone. That's what animals do. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
This making sense now, ain't it?
Yes.
We had to write it out. Now, the one sister asked me, how do you get your protein? What is protein? Now, first, we lived in a society. When I was born, they told me I only could get protein from meat. That's what they told me. All right. That's the curriculum. We ain't know what it was. Then vegetarianism came on the scene, and it went through a great battle. People ain't accepted right away. They still don't accept it in many places. And then veganism came along. That's no animal byproducts at all. No eggs, no milk, no cheese. You get me? And then that got beat up on. How you gonna get your protein? So that went through a battle. But now when I left America, now I've been on this path for 19 years. 19 years ago when I went to the medical doctor, they had the old food triangle on there, the old food pyramid. They had the meat, the dairy. Okay, that's where they was at. Then, when I was just leaving America a couple years ago, they had a food triangle, and they had the meatless diet. You see how I shifted over? Now, everybody ain't got the memo, but that doctor's office had it. That means that a person can live a whole lifetime never even touching an animal or no byproducts and live healthy. It had to win out. But it didn't at first. Now when you look on the internet, all the vegetables and fruits that got protein in it, where you can get your protein from, this long list is going to come. More than meat. Why didn't they see that before? Maybe somebody didn't want to see it. What?
Who's that?
Huh?
Who didn't want us to see?
Oh, I'm just saying. We ain't pointing no fingers or blaming nobody. We didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see it once upon a time. When vegetarians was on the scene, I didn't want to become no vegetarian. My favorite dish was Salisbury steak and gravy. I was planning on eating that till I died. Until my body got compromised. Here we go again. That usually wakes you up. I just did a good workshop in Israel with a man where he has an injury, but he said his injury brought him closer to living on prana. See, sometimes a trauma could wake you up to bring you in tune with the forces. See, if everything's going smooth by you going against the forces, why would you need to change? You wouldn't change. So sickness is a good thing. It's telling you that you need to change. That's why this message ain't hard to get off. So when I was enjoying myself on Salisbury steak, it wasn't happy no more. I started gaining weight. Blood pressure started going up, heart beating. Right. Well, that started to change it. So, here we go again, dealing with this extraterrestrial energy.
So could you just kind of summarize the 5 dimensions? Once again,
pillars.
the 5
Oh, 5 pillars. First, I had the first concealment.
first concept.
That's where you're not being sustained fully. You heard about the curriculum, you heard about the knowledge, but you ain't seeing the turnaround of the improvements, like they saying. Like I told you, he missed the memo. That's not how it worked. That's not how I did it. People still keep doing that. I keep telling them over and over again, tell me how that works for you. That's what's happening. All they're going to do is shrivel up. They're going to do 1 or 2 things in the first concealment. They're going to leave it alone altogether. So let's go back to protein. So now all of a sudden we can find all these proteins that plants have. But the question is, where do plants get the protein from? Oh, from the sun. Okay, everybody got that. Because medical science have convinced people that plants, they do practice photosynthesis, but the human being don't. Somebody we live in the bottom of gases. They're going through us. We passing gas. We burping. So much, you know how you eat a good meal and you burp? We got so much prana around it, we burping it. Burping it up. So much food, you don't have to chase food. Carbon dioxide that he needs. There's an energy exchange taking place. So you can take a mouse, put him inside an environment with a lot of plant life, put the lid on it, shut off the oxygen. He will live in there because there'll be that exchange. He's giving them carbon dioxide and the plants is doing their thing. This is heavy. We're living in this. There's an energy. Horse. Look at all of them. Now they say they do eat a little protein. It's the bugs that's in the fruits. All right, we got that. But this giraffe is coming directly to the plant life. Now the plants, now check this out. Out of all this sun beaming on him every day, he only get 10% of what's coming from the sun. That's all he gets. He don't where it keeps it for his photosynthesis process. So therefore, that's the thing, I'm glad you brought that up. Why only 10%? One thing about a pranic diet, if it's getting vitamin C, if you're eating oranges to get the vitamin C, do you know how much you need? Medical science ain't figured that out. How much of something do you actually need? They're guessing. Going to sleep early, yawning, that's all contagious. No. That's where the knowledge is at again. So protein is the air. And now I'm going to show you all a video. I'll do that probably tonight. Tonight going to be movie night, just to show you to back it up. There's a video where they're talking about we can transform ourselves, literally. So that's why I'm saying you're coming from an earth animal. You was getting all your sustenance from the earth. You was eating not only flowers, you was eating trees. You'll eat a giraffe. We was eating lions, pigs, goats, horses. Right, that's what we was doing. Chickens. Now you don't need to eat them no more. You could go through. We are in the magnetic pool of the moon. Remember I keep saying how it affects our pineal gland? That's just one example. So yes, we are in these. And then you asked me about astrology last night. Look at that word astrology. A G means study of the cosmos. That's basically what they're saying, study of the cosmos. Me and my buddy talking, man, we in heaven. We could talk like that. That's what we was experiencing. But some woman came up and said, this ain't heaven. Because she had all these other problems going on. That's all that was on her perception. She couldn't see it. But we could see it because we felt good. We're being sustained. Now this man, for some reason, he chose a life to live with no money. Yeah, we're going to the waterfall, swim, meditate, do some more teachings, talk, get the water element. We're in heaven. This is the Garden of Eden. See, that's why there's a saying that says, God didn't kick man out of the garden. Man kicked himself out of the garden. That's why the scriptures also say, I didn't leave you, you left me. Our idea went another direction. So you just grabbing another idea into that fifth level of consciousness. You got to keep in mind that the creative force is in every scene, every picture. You just have to find out where it's at. Sometimes you got when a situation is going down, you got to ask yourself, what do I supposed to be seeing or listening to so I can grow? Everything is dictated for your growth. You change yourself, and you'd be surprised how these external forces start changing themselves. That's why they're saying it says, even a mean dog wags his tail. Right. It starts becoming from thought to reality. It does. Even a mean dog wags his tail. Even a tyrant buys gift for his children. I say, well, I go places, people still be giving me, what? Food, clothes. I don't deny it. I just let it filter through me. I know it's coming and give it to somebody else. It's supposed to happen. Money come through, oh, I'm going broke. I ain't going broke. Out of nowhere, here it comes. I was even in Morocco. I lost a credit card one time. I ain't even rushed to go get it. Because I was before I come in, because I was a bad boy last time. I overstayed. So I ain't have enough money. It got to the point, I was like, well, how did I go? I don't know. And I'm like, well, I was supposed to go to India. The security guards paid it. They did. All I know, I'm supposed to go to India. I ain't even had no money if I left the airport where I was going to sleep at. Hey, this is what's supposed to happen.